Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about Belle Collective. So this is the reunion part two. They didn't show, I guess, because they actually did. I guess they stopped filming. They didn't show, it last episode, the last part one of the reunion. I can't get my thoughts together. Latrice and Marie Monroe. Girl, they almost got into a fight. Girl, I don't. It's weird to me because Marie was the one who really started this mess with Latrice. If you go back to season one, Marie started with Latrice. Marie actually came after Latrice's business. Okay, she came for her pockets. So it's weird this energy, this I don't want to say, lack of a better word, hatred that Marie has for Latrice. When truth be told, Marie, you started messing with Latrice, and you came after her money, aka her business. So now we're season four, and like Marie cannot stand the ground that Latrice walks on. When it's like when you go back to season one, Latrice hadn't really done anything to you, and it just went downhill from there. I thought it was ridiculous that Marie, as accomplished as she say that she is, um, was on TV. Girl, about to. I know. Listen, sometimes it don't matter, girl, what tax bracket you're in or what your title is. Girl, sometimes you might feel the need to monkey stomp somebody, right? Sometimes, no matter, sometimes you got to step out of your 6, 7 figure job and girl smack a heifer around, right? So I guess sometimes we lose control, but I felt like in this situation, it wasn't anything. I didn't see anything that should have made Marie get to the point where she was ready to stomp Latrice. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. I'm like, girl, look at the CEO.
Look at the CEO.
You a big girl and you doing that.
Listen to me. And the businesswoman.
Look at the CEO and the businesswoman. Shout out to Dr. Wendy. Um. Anyways, but yeah, they didn't show the footage because Carlos, I guess, told them to stop recording. Marie says she's looking for a conservative man. She didn't say, I don't know if it had anything to do with your party affiliation. Um, but based off of that last man that we saw on our TV screen, what was his name? Cedric Curtis? The one who, remember when she dropped his boxes off at that trap house? I said, well, maybe Marie Monroe just had to change her heart. Because her last husband, he did not give me nothing conservative. Nothing. Girl. Um, Marie thinks that Marie says she clocks in. I've been clocked Marie. I knew what Marie been trying. Marie has been trying to be the Kenya of Belle Collective, and it's not working because the things that Marie does, it doesn't really make sense, right? Kenya is one of one. She's the only one. Don't ever waste your time trying to compete with me. Okay? No one in this world can think like me. Girl, whatever Beyonce say, I'm twisted. Okay? Unique. Okay? Um, she says that Tamara didn't clock in. Latrice just started clocking in. Marie is trying to be the girl of the show, right? But I don't think Marie knows what she's doing. It's just a lot of unnecessary chaos and confusion. Like when Marie decided to meet up with um um Tamara's ex or whatever he was to her, girl, that's why I was like, okay, girl, y'all, you doing too much. We'll get into that in a little bit. The baby has Tamara's last name. I said, well, kudos to her. Somebody said it. I think it was the diva. Shout out to the diva. It was somebody. Girl, I don't think that Tamara and Damon had sex when they had that baby. I really don't. I don't think Tamara and Damon are together. I don't think they had sex. I could really see, girl, girl, them going a different route. But for some reason, it's stuck in my head that girl, I don't think they probably didn't have sex. I could see it. Girl. Anyways, Marie, I was Marie girl. Marie tried to pull the switcheroo. I watched that scene twice and I listened to it. I was in the restroom, girl, brushing my teeth and all that stuff. Anyway, so I was listening. I watched the episode and then I was doing what I was doing, and so I was listening to it while I was in my bathroom, and then I watched it again. Okay. And what it sounded like to me, Marie was trying to pull the switcheroo and make it seem as if Tamara did a disservice to the group and put them in a position where their lives were in danger because Tamara, is it Tamara or Tamara? I think it's Tamara. What's her name? I don't know that lady's name. I forgot. Because Tamara didn't tell them about the man who she was involved with before and that he could be dangerous. And she also tried to pull the basically what type of woman is Tamara for not even coming out and being vocal about her past experiences. Girl, like I said, oh my God, girl, I see what, because at first I was confused on what Marie was trying to say. And then when I was like, oh, girl, I see what she's trying to pull the switcheroo. Girl, she's trying to make it seem as though, again, Tamara not telling them about this man who she was involved with put everybody in the group, their life in danger. You went and met up with the nigga. Tamara says she's spoken about this plenty of times, even on the radio show. Latrice says she's talked about it on the radio show. So the man got in contact with all the Bells. They basically paid it dust at first. When it was brought to, I think Tamara said it was brought to her attention by Latrice. But Tamara said it was so far out of sight, out of mind. And on top of that, the person was misspelling her name. So she didn't even put one plus one, she didn't put it together. So she was just like, girl, she just thought it was somebody basically just trying to get some clout off the show, basically. And then I guess she finally figured out that it was the man who she used to go to court, had the court case with, and all that stuff. But I thought Marie had some nerve. Marie lives in a whole nother world. Girl. I felt like Tamara was about to get Marie together. I felt like Tamara was about to get Marie together. And then Marie replied. And then I just felt like everybody started screaming and talking. And Carlos, at that point, I felt like he dropped the ball because he should have told everybody to be quiet, let Tamara talk, and then Marie can respond. Because I felt like whatever Tamara was about to say, she was about to get Marie together. And that's why Marie, usually when the girl's about to make a point, girl, this is what we all do, right? When you know the girl's about to tell your business or know they're about to make a point, you start over talking them. Right? Girl, shut up! You don't even know what she's talking about. Girl, they know what they're talking about. So the men come out and Carlos says, so no paternity test this season. And here go Letitia pulling her hair. I don't know, girl. I just talk about we're the Pearsons. You're like, oh, girl, I hate it because Letitia. If I had to have picked anyone as my fave, it would have been Letitia. And I just like Letitia. Like, I don't know. I don't like it. Me no like it. Me no like it. Me no like it. I think Letitia is a mess now. I do. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Then you got Cliff in the back when the show first came back, at the beginning of the episode, basically saying that Latrice is a snake and you're a queen, and a queen doesn't get off their throne to go chasing after snakes or whatever he said. I thought that was a little weird, being that I guess him and Cliff are like, I guess, good Judies. And you sitting there calling this man wife a snake. I guess, girl, I don't know. Cliff started talking. Girl, I said Cliff got a cute little pixie cut. I said, come on, pixie cut. Cliff had a little 1-2 pixie, girl. I said, no, that's right. Okay, so is Latrice in an abusive relationship? Has Cliff ever put his hands on her? Carla says, does Cliff grab you often? Was this the first time he grabbed you? And then she said, I'm going to be honest. When we argue, we argue. So she really didn't answer the question. And then Carlos asked her, does he call you a bitch? And then she said, I call him a bitch. And he said, that's not what I asked you. So this is what I think. I think that there are a group of people out there, a large group of people out there, who believe that if a man ain't knocking your head between a washer and dryer, then it's not considered abuse. I think that Latrice is one of those women who believes that even if my man kind of yanks me up, pushes me onto the bed, grabs me and tries to restrain me. You know how like a man will grab you like right here and be like, be still, shut up, right? Grab me by my arm. I could see those being the things that happen in Latrice's house with Cliff. Now, do I believe that Cliff is, again, girl, knocking Latrice's head all around that big old house? I could see that not happening. But could I see him doing the things that I just said? Yes. We saw him grab her up outside on the TV. Okay? In my opinion, that is a form of abuse. Don't put your hands on me. Don't be grabbing me up. Okay? He was too. And then on top of that, we have to also realize there are more than one form of abuse. Girl, you got domestic abuse, you got emotional abuse, you got financial abuse, right? We done seen your man yank you up, call you all types of bitches and motherfuckers and snakes. Hello? So, Latrice, you can't sit here and say that you're not in an abusive situation because, girl, based off what we've seen, you are. Again, is he knocking her head upside? Is he knocking upside the head every night? Probably not. But that's not the only that's not the only thing that makes you be in an abusive situation. Latrice says half of the women on the stage are in abusive situations or have been. I don't know who she was talking about. I assume she was probably talking about Letitia. Probably Marie, girl. I don't know. I don't know. Cliff starts talking about, I guess, if she was in an abuse, if it was some type of abuse going on, she would have called the cops and all that. And just like Akeisha said, I know people who've been in relationships for 30 years and getting their ass whooped and ain't called the cops not one time. Hello? Hello? So someone not calling the laws, okay? That's what the old people say, call the laws. Because somebody not calling the laws is not an indication that they could or could not be being abused. Just because you know how many people are being abused and don't call law enforcement because they don't want to see their man go to jail. even though they know they just got their ass popped. I think Cliff. Shout out to Latrice Hunter. She love her man. I don't know how you with some man, a grown ass man. That it just goes to show how insecure Cliff is. Because he said he was mad for about 2 months. I guess over the whole Latrice and Cliff, Latrice and Joshy. He didn't pinpoint what situation it was. I'm assuming it was, I guess, just Joshy, him feeling like Josh was being disrespectful. He said he was mad for about 2 months. Bitch, how are you damn near in your 60s? Is Cliff in his 60s? Late 50s? And girl, you mad at someone who probably, what, 23, 24? Girl. 2 months? 2 months? 2 months. Joshy comes out. I like Joshy. Joshy is a young queen, right? Joshy knows a lot of Latrice's business. I am glad that he didn't come out on stage and try and set the whole stage on fire and tell Latrice's business. But I think Joshy knows a lot of Latrice's business. Latrice has told him a lot of their business. I do believe Joshy when he says that Latrice tells him things for him to bring it up in front of Cliff, so that kind of opens up the door for Latrice to be able to say what she really wants to say. I do believe that. I think one of the hardest positions to be in is when you're gay and you're best friends with a woman and you don't necessarily you bump heads with their spouse. That is one of the worst positions to be in, right? Because you know that there's only so much you can and should say. And I think Joshy, what comes with age comes wisdom, right? Joshy, the things that Joshy did wrong was he did overstep. I think that Joshy is going to have to learn that if him and Latrice get back to the way that they were, that when she comes to you and complains and talks, whatever she has to say about Cliff, girl, that's just between y'all. That's just between two girlfriends. You can't go back and tell Cliff what Latrice said. You're gonna have to just keep it to yourself, right? And I think that's something that Joshy has learned. Like there is a such thing as overstepping, even with your best friend in her business, right? And there were moments where I was like, even when I watched the season, like, ooh, Joshy, girl, you kind of out of line. Like even when he was talking to what's her name, Akeisha, and low key telling Akeisha Latrice's business, that was one of the things that should have got low key Joshy popped upside his head. You know what I'm saying? Um, but he'll learn that, you know, you and Latrice are best friends or were best friends. If you get back to where you were, that girl, you can't, that's just, Latrice is just coming to you to vent about that nigga, but you can't go back and tell him or bring up what she said. You just can't. Um, at one point, Cliff apologized to Joshy. I will say this much about Cliff. I don't believe that Cliff is the type of man that will apologize just to apologize. He's too hard headed. He's too stuck in his ways. He's too much of a man. I'm a man. So I just don't see Cliff apologizing if he didn't mean it. So I do believe that when he did apologize to Joshy, that he meant what he was saying. Um, Cliff is one of those people where he maybe because it's his age. Do I believe that Cliff probably has some homophobic tendencies? Yes. Do I also believe that with Latrice being best friends with someone as flamboyant as Joshy, has that kind of shifted his way of thinking when it comes to the homosexuals? Yes. Do I believe that he, at one point, had a soft spot for Joshy because of that being Latrice's friend? Yes. Do I believe that Cliff was trying to downplay the love that he has for Joshy? Yes. I think everybody clocked. I think Latrice clocked it. Carlos clocked it. I think that upset Joshy. Um, because I do think that, you know, Cliff likes Joshy, right? Um, and I believe that they were cool, right? I think that sometimes when you have a man like Cliff who could be set in his ways, right, from a whole nother generation, they think a certain way, especially when it comes up to the gays. Now you have your wife who's best friends with this person. Sometimes it can kind of start to open up your mind, open up your heart to realize, oh, girl, the gay people, they just people, right? We ain't got no problems with each other. We cool. The little nigga, he oversteps sometimes. He run his mouth too much, but he all right. And I feel like that's where Cliff is with, at least at one point, with Joshy. Um, Carlos tells Joshy, because Joshy didn't want to accept Cliff's apology. He tells Joshy that it's not that deep. It just depends on what Cliff. I'm not gonna say it's not that deep because it really just depends on what. A part of me feels like Josh is not telling the full story, just out of I don't want to cause no more mess. But it just depends on what. Got my light blinking. I was like, "What is that?" I'm looking here, anyways. Um, it just really depends on what what Cliff has actually said to Joshy, right? If he called Joshy out of his name, because for some reason my spirit tells me that I could see Cliff calling Joshy a faggot. And I don't know. I just feel like that's what Cliff told Joshy. I could be wrong. But it just depends on how far Cliff went with Joshy. And Joshy being a young queen, he's sensitive. See, Joshy not no old punk like me. Cliff ain't talking to no old punk like me like that. Because by the time me and Cliff finish, Cliff would be ready to fight me and knock my head off my shoulders. Because baby, the way that I would have wrapped Cliff up in a bow, bitch, and sent his ass packing, girl. But see, Josh ain't no old punk like me. Josh is like a young 20-something-year-old queen. When if Josh girl was about in his 30s, 40s, he would have packed Cliff ass up, and that would have been the end. Girl, because I'm saying right now. And I think one of the worst positions to be in also when you're gay and you are bumping heads with your best friend's husband, and there's a possibility that your best friend's husband may have some homophobic tendencies. You start to realize. I'm just saying this at my big ass age. I personally am not being friends with someone who I know if their husband is homophobic. If I know your husband is homophobic, then girl, we really can't be cool. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, all it's gonna take is one time at my big ass age for your husband to disrespect me, and bitch, I'm setting everybody on the house on fire. Okay. So before we even get to the point, I turn to Carrie. Okay, girl, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this relationship. And I feel like I don't know. I just feel like Cliff has said some things to Joshy, and Joshy don't want to say what it is. I just feel like Cliff done said some things. Regardless if he said it out of anger, he still said it. I just feel like Cliff has said some things. I really do. And Joshy being young, he really not gonna go there with Cliff like that. Like I feel like Joshy kind of grew a little, grew some pussy lips on the stage, right? But I don't see Joshy having the lip that he had like face to face with Cliff. I can see Joshy kind of shutting down, right? Being emotional. Now we on the stage. Now I got all these people, in between us. I'm on the other side of the room. So I might be like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. But if the cameras wasn't there, I don't see Joshy having all that lip that he had on stage. Right? I could see him kind of like shutting down. Anyways, he said that him and Latrice, they still work together. They don't talk as much as they used to. It's just a sad situation to be in. But like I said, Joshy has some growing up to do. He's gonna have to realize that everything that people tell you is not your place. Girl, when your best friends come and tell you about their trifling ass husbands, girl, just listen. Girl, you. This is the thing, Josh. You're gonna have to understand. You can call when y'all talking about that nigga. You can be like, girl, that nigga, fuck that nigga, girl. Right? That's girlfriend talk. But when he come around, you can't say none of that stuff. You just can't. She'll let you probably have a little slick tongue about him when y'all talking and she complaining about the nigga. But when he come around, girl, you gotta shut up. Hey Cliff, how you doing? And then you roll your eyes when he turn his back, right? And then when he leave, girl, y'all go back to talking about that nigga. Anyways, I'm gone, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Was that the end? I thought it was real sweet that Carlos walked over. Carlos got some good ways. He got some good ways. I thought it was real sweet when he walked over and was basically making sure that Joshy was okay. Akeisha walked over to check on Joshy, and then Latrice walked over and like walked him off the stage because I think he was really emotional. Not, I think he was emotional. It was a lot. I think that was a lot for Joshy, right? No, I don't think Joshy want to be a Belle. Girl, we know that's not gonna ever happen. I just think it was a lot for him. Anyways, I'm gone, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.